Hey everyone, this is Elise, the host and founder of the thriving Facebook group, The Spiritual Entrepreneurs, where we're hosting more than 17,000 members from around the world. And today, it's the start of Celebrity Show. Alrighty, and today we have another member with us. She's a mom. I wouldn't call her a new mom quite, but yeah, she might as well be a new mom. And she's doing this, and it's just crazy. And I love interviewing women who, especially who are moms, because they do what they do. Yeah, mostly because of their kids. That's why they do what they do. So I'm really interested to find out more about what Whitney is doing. So today we have Whitney with us. So who is Whitney? Whitney Mullings. She's a brand therapist helping women, coaches, and entrepreneurs to get known and recognized as the expert that they are by positioning from the place of service and love. So we all know what branding does to you. And in case you do not know, and if you are new, you might be wondering, why do you need branding? So without further ado, let's warmly welcome Whitney. Hey, Whitney, how are you?
Hi, Elise. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. You're so welcome. And, you're 12 hours behind me. I'm in your future. So it's about 9 p.m. right now. And you just told me you have two almost twins, right? Like so close apart. So how do you manage, before we go into the business side, so how do you manage like being a new mom and then the business, and like, do you have a system? How do you manage? Because your kids can't talk right yet, right?
I know it's hard to have a system right now, actually, because like they change so fast at this age. They're under 3 for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to kind of go along with their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it's a bit of a struggle, because especially when you're in business for yourself, you always want it to be a little bit further than where you are, and you always want to make a little bit more money than the money that you're making. I mean, that's how I feel. And so it's a little bit of a learning curve, how to be a mom and how to run a business at the same time. But a lot of them is internal struggles, I find. So a lot of mindset work, and it's coming more to light. It's self-love and self-care, because now I'm seeing how everything is interrelated, right? And having limited time to work on the business, but also have to balance to make sure you are okay and make sure that your energy is like in a high vibration. It's been quite a learning curve. It's been quite a ride. And so now my system is really trying to go with my baby's schedule. So if they let me work, then I would work. And if they don't let me work, then I don't.
I find that because you have such a limited time, you actually work more efficiently.
Yes, you have to, because 1 hour goes by so fast. And when you have like so many, there's so many moving pieces to a business. I have to learn how to outsource a little bit more. That's one of the harder lessons, honestly, for me.
We all start off that way, especially if you're moms and you're all control freaks, right? Because we want to control the milk, we want to control the
Oh my God, it's so true. It is so true. I want to be in control of everything and everything.
Like, as a new mother, right? It's like, from the milk powder to the diapers, everything, we have to have a say in it, right?
Oh my God, it's so true. It's so funny because just recently I was gifted this lesson to say, you just have to let loose a little bit, like loosen your death grip.
I know.
And that on its own is also a lesson too. Like, I'm always hearing like, oh, let it flow, right? Go with the flow. And like you say, when you're a mom, everything you have to kind of plan ahead of time. Like when that crappy diaper shoot out the back, you need to have all your stuff ready. What are you gonna do, right? And that is hard, because I'm a perfectionist too. I'm like a Virgo, and I'm like really, really a Virgo. Like all the Virgo traits, like very, very like everything has to be perfect. So it's like so hard to go with the flow.
I know. It's again, like you say, everything is interrelated. So
yeah.
So when did you
So
start your business? Before the first child or after the first child?
after the first child.
Wow. So you
Um,
actually have three babies.
it's true. It's true. It is so true. I have to look at my business as a third baby now
And
because
you actually have
I'm
triplets, not
great.
even twins, because your business requires your time and effort as well, right? I mean, it's a baby that doesn't
Yeah.
cry, but you know it's crying when the cash flow's not coming in.
Or yeah, or when my death grip, it's like too tight. Oh,
Mhm.
it is so true. I love that. I do have triplets. I do.
So why did you decide to be a brand therapist? I mean, what's the difference? Because everybody's calling themselves brand coach, but you are a brand therapist. So is there a difference?
I call myself a therapist is because first of all, a lot of the ladies I talk to still is not very clear on branding, like how I do it. I do strategy.
Mm.
And when everybody hear branding, they automatically goes towards the image.
Mm.
So
Like the
the
logo.
logo. Yes, right. I mean, that is part of branding. It's a very important part. I'm not trying to downplay it, but I focus more on positioning. I focus on like, what is your brand, right? I focus on really about how do you get the message out there so people know what you stand for, and how do people know why you're unique. So really, when the brand strategy is done well, people would speak up for you because they know the value that you bring and they know what you can do for them. And I just find it's often missed. And so a lot of people are marketing features against features, right?
Mm.
So then it gets a little bit harder in your marketing.
So who do you work? I mean, there are so many layers of entrepreneurs, the beginners, the next level, level one, level two, level three, and then the level 0.1, right? So which level do you enter your expertise to?
I'm enjoying a lot more with women who is at least 6 months into the business. Because at that point they're a little bit more established. They really know what type of direction they want to go into. So they really know the value they bring. They have a sense of what their zone of genius is, and their skin is in the game,
Mm.
right? And so I enjoy working with women in that stage a lot more right now. And interestingly enough, I'm finding a lot of women kind of transitioning. So what I'm seeing is once they've been in business for a little, maybe like a short period of time to even established,
Mhm.
a lot of them that I'm talking to is actually transitioning their focus, or they're branching out and doing something related to their old business, but kind of different.
Mm.
And so they understand the importance of brand strategy. And or if they don't really know exactly what it is, they know they need to, and they would come and ask me, okay, so tell me exactly what do I need to do.
So what's the difference between, like, it's very similar to business coaching. Actually, to be honest, the word coaching, I was having this little rant with another member the other day on the interview. It's like, I think with coaching, it's like life coaching, right? What does coaching mean? You draw the answer within yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think business coaching, you can't draw any answers within you because if I
Yes.
pay you $25,000, I don't want to draw any answers within you. You give me the answer, right? I
Yes.
think business coaches have to change the word coach to consultant, which is more accurate.
Oh, that is an interesting way to look at it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
think about
agree.
this, right? Because coach, the definition of coach is drawing the answers within you. You don't search for the answers. That's what life coaching is all about. So
Mm.
how can a business coach draw the answers within you? It's not possible. It's why I want to hire a business coach, right? So,
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. It's not intuitive. It's either you know the strategy or you don't.
right. If I know the strategy, I don't need a business coach,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So is there a difference between business? I mean, I've rented enough. So the business consultant versus brand consultant. I mean, there are there's interrelated topics, like who do you need to, like, yeah, who do you need to become? That's the mindset. But your target audience, your message,
Yeah.
a business consultant. like would cover that. So how would you add on, or what's the difference?
Okay. You know what? A lot of the business coach, like you say, they're really consulting. And
Mhm.
so they give you, okay, A, B, C, and D. So, this is how you do it. This is what you need to get done. But then they don't really dive in with you. So to discover exactly what is your brand,
Mm.
right?
So what
And
is
so
your personal definition of a brand? Because we know it's not just the logo, it's not just a pretty website. So since you're the expert, so by your own definition, what's a brand?
oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked, Elise.
It's not the logo, I know. It's just not the smile. I can see it all, but it's just not just that, right?
um, okay. Do we have time? Like, can I share with you one of my theories?
Go ahead,
Because
please.
yeah, that's my approach to branding. So basically, I read this book. This book is called The Four Desires by Rod Stryker. And it's very simple. And basically, it's just outlining if you want to live a very fulfilling, meaningful, and happy life, there's four different desires that you would honor in your life. If you honor all four of them, then it will lead you to a very fulfilled and meaningful life, and that leads to happiness. And they are broken down as the first desire is your life purpose.
Mhm.
And then the second desire is your mean to carry out your life purpose. So I read this book a couple years ago, but as I do more brand strategy and the more of women entrepreneurs I talk to, I guarantee 100% of the time, like we always go into business is not because it's just the money maker, but it's something bigger than that because that's what you want to do. And that's your way of helping other people. And usually that's the purpose. And so the third desire is, pleasure and gratification. And that's what we get when we help our clients. When you are able to drive change for the client that they had originally come to you at the very beginning, from point A to point B, from start to finish, that gives us the pleasure that even if you don't make a dime going forward, like it's not going to stop you from doing it. And then the fourth desire is really liberation. So it's really freedom.
Mhm.
So all of us in business, we really just want to live a lifestyle that we choose. A lot of people just want to have the time freedom, like forget asking for vacation, asking for permission if you can stay home with your kid, if your kid gets sick.
Mhm.
Like people just want to have that freedom. Even if it's not with loads and loads and loads of money, you want to have time freedom, right? And so I'm like, okay, that's how we run our business, isn't it? And so it's very, very, very personal. And so that's how I equate the two. I mean, our business is really an extension of ourselves. So, like earlier, when you say it's triplet, it's so true. It is part of us, it is our life. And so that's how I kind of relate to branding. Like it's not very far off. So, first of all, as a strategy, I say personal branding. Go brand yourself for your business because you are your business, right? And your brand is literally what is it that you're promising your clients? So, therefore, what is your purpose? What type of change you want to drive for the client that you work with? That's your brand.
So purpose equals brand for you. So if someone were to
Yeah.
come to you, do your clients mostly know what's their purpose, or you got to take some time out to figure out what's their purpose with them?
I've been taking time to figure it out with them. So I just ask them a whole load of questions. And then I just kind of tell them what I think to ask them, are we on the right page? And usually that's kind of how it bring to light. Because a lot of the women that I talk to, I mean, myself included, when you go into your business, there's so many things that you want to do, so many things that you need to do. And so sometimes we're focusing on how to execute your business. And so when I go through this exercise with them, I'm like, okay, so let's just peel all the layers back. Like, what is your freaking purpose of your business? People don't really think about it that way. And so when I do the exercise with them, they're like, it's almost like a newfound love for what they do again, and bring it to light. It's like, oh yeah, most of them kind of react the same way. It's like, oh yeah, right.
Mhm.
Like now it becomes clear.
Right. So I have this question very very common. I'm sure you've heard this too. Should I brand my name or brand a company name? I'm sure
Your
you've heard this
name.
a million times, right? They
Yes.
always say your name. So tell us why brand your name.
Well, it's going back to what I really truly believe in is that our business is really extension of ourselves. So when you bring yourself to doing business with someone else, you're really showcasing who you are, what you value, what your purpose and intention is. And so, I'll give you an example too, like big corporations like Nike, Coke, Pepsi, whatever big brands is out there. One of the exercises, they always assign a brand personality to their product because they want to be relatable. They want people to think of them and evoke emotions. So it's almost like, why would we do that with a company name when we are our own person and our business is ourselves and we have personalities?
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So look no further. Just brand yourself and just the trick. It's really how do you package yourself, brand yourself, and market yourself. Because, I cringe whenever I see online because it's so often talked about. People are always saying, just be yourself, just be authentic. But
Mhm.
how the heck do you do that when, right? When
Right.
everything is on the screen, unless if it's like a video, but it's not so straightforward, I find. So there is an art to how do you be truly yourself and really bring to light what you really are, what your message is, to be very clear and concise and to connect with those people who you are meant to help. So that's kind of how I look at branding, and that's my approach to it. And everything starts from your purpose, and I think your purpose is also aligned with your intention. It's really aligning to your whole life experience, right? So to answer the question again is like, why wouldn't you go with your own name?
Mm. I think when I was a love coach, I hid behind my brand name, like purposely love, because I was scared to own my name.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's so funny that you said that because I just had like a very recent breakthrough. Um, so here's the thing. That's how I take branding, but the way how I market my business is always about brand strategy. And I always talk about your brand is not just your logo. So
Mhm.
that's my approach until it hit me from a conversation. How I do branding is really bring out my clients' purpose and life, right? And so right away, when I was asked this question, it's like, well, you kind of do more than branding,
Mm.
right? But then I said, it's great if I'm able to help them to be clear what their purpose is if they don't already know.
Maybe you
Great.
should call your like business brand purpose, like purpose brand or something. Because I was going to ask you,
Purpose brand. Okay.
how do you stand out from the other branding strategists or other branding coach? But of course, you call yourself a therapist, so by that you already stand out. But then again, do you have like a specific? Because I mean, there are bazillion of coaches out there. There is more than
Yeah.
my new thing is about the spiritual school of money, right? And there's so many people teaching the money thing. So, I added the spiritual in it to stand out. So, how about you? How do you stand out from the bazillion of coaches? I mean, brands out there.
It's with this breakthrough, right? It's exactly to what you just said, is the fact that it's about being open and realize your capabilities, and you really have to own up to it. And so now I'm really changing my marketing because I'm actually owning up to what I'm doing. I'm actually aligning these women with their purpose to their business.
So what's your
So
purpose? Sorry, what's your purpose in this branding? I mean, like, what? So you talk about purpose so much. So what's your purpose? I'm curious.
my purpose, oh my gosh, okay.
Why are you in this? Why of so many niches? Why did you pick this niche? I mean, clearly there's something to do with your purpose, right? So let's hear.
Yeah. Oh my God, you asked the most amazing questions. So, you know, my background is Chinese, and my parents are very, very old traditional. I have two older brothers, and so they really have higher regards to boys and girls, and me being the younger one, like growing up, I blocked out so many memories because like I've been on a search to really draw them out so I can let it go. So then again, it's about my energy, right? But I couldn't even recall incidents. That's how much I blocked them. But overall, the impact that has on me is I grew up having low self-esteem, low self-confidence. Even now doing business, it's almost like um, asked backwards in a way because I'm asking people to pay money for me to give them valuable insight. Meanwhile, I've been growing up leading to believe that what I have to say is not valuable. Right. And so what happens growing up, I never put my hand up, even if I know the answer, or somebody's not making sense to me and I have a really good question and I never ask the question. So it kind of relates to my self-worth. And it totally impacts me at the very early stages of my business. It's like I can't ask for the money, right? And I'm not charging my worth. And so, I struggled a lot, and not just money, but the way how I stand in the world, the way how I open up to what I believe in, and the way how I speak to what I know. And so what I find is once I am aligned, I'm like, oh, holy shit, this is my purpose, right? I'm given this profound power. It's almost like instantly I get over myself already. Like I'm thinking probably too high on myself. Like nobody really looks at me the way that I look at myself. So just don't hold back already and say what I need to say because somebody needs to hear it. And so I show up a little bit more proud. I stand a little bit more, tall, and I speak with conviction now. It's like, I don't care because I know this is the truth. If you ask me, I'll tell you. So how big of a transformation has it been for me knowing what my purpose is? And so I just know that a lot of women go through the same thing where they're having issues with self-worthiness and they're not confident in admitting what they do is because they haven't been fully aligned. Once they're aligned that this is their purpose to their business, they speak more clear to what they do. So now into this stage of my business, and owning to what I'm doing, and going through the process with my ladies, they're getting better results and they're really, really going in the direction where they feel right. Because like there's always that stage in the business at the very beginning for me. It's like, oh, I don't know if I'm in the right business, right? I don't know if I'm doing the right things. And I invested in a higher business coach, but to your point, they just really share with you strategies. And so they don't really work with you too much like, oh, how are you feeling about your brand? They just go with whatever you tell them and they just give you strategies, but they don't tell you, okay, so maybe you can look into your service offerings if it is aligning to what feels right for you, to go into your package offers, right? They don't really go into that with you so much because I've had a few business coaches already at this time, right? So that's the biggest difference. And so this is like kind of what gives me, the fire in my belly now, right? So it's the feeling of it, and so everything is interrelated. And so I just find that going into business this way, it just feels right, feels aligned, and you just know that you are on the right path, and just keep trucking along, right?
So what it sounds like to me is if you are confident in your brand, then you can speak confidently and it helps with visibility. I mean, the community, there's so much talk about visibility, right? I mean, the only reason why
Yeah.
people are afraid of visibility is because they're not confident, of themselves. And I guess at some point it's a little bit of a website shame as well. So people don't send people to the website, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love the way how you worded it. That is bang on. It's totally it. Yeah.
So what is the number one problem or the number one boo boo about women's brand, like when they first started and they try to do it by themselves? Is there, I mean, you said like almost up to 6 months, then they kind of like know what they're doing. And then at this time, then I also feel it's the right time to hire a strategist, because otherwise at the beginning, you're trying to figure out, it's really quite a waste of money, because you're not sure if this is for you or not. Until you're really sure, then go and spend more money, right? So say now at the beginning stage, someone's watching this, what tips can you give this person? Like, what is the mistake that they usually do
Mm,
sabotages their brand?
yeah. So this is my second theory. For a very, very long time, I really struggled with how do I get to a place of becoming the leader that inspire other people.
Mm-hmm.
Just how do I become that person where people just naturally wants to follow,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we're talking about building your tribe, and which is so important for your business. So I was in search of that, and I've been doing a lot of self development, but it's almost like the more you grow, the more you're still chasing after it. And until I finally realized, forget about being that person that's inspirational, forget it. We're all here just to work on ourselves. We all have our own journey. Just focus on yourself. Life is so short. Just focus on yourself and just do the best you can, and just continuously grow. Whatever your pace is, whatever that drives your life, just focus on yourself. And so what comes of that is, once you focus on yourself, just know that there are other people who are on a similar journey. So they could just be a few steps behind you, and you're doing nothing more but just sharing your own journey. So what I would say, the number one thing is, a lot of the women is that they feel they're not good enough, right? At the very start of their business, especially when they just start out in their business, they're always figuring like, yes, they feel like a fraud, because they're like, can I ask for this money? Like, when people pay for me, like, am I really good enough? Right? Am I offering enough value? And then you see a woman, especially on Facebook, online, so many people doing the same thing as you. Then you already compare yourself, and you feel so small, feel fraud. And then you might as well just pay money to people and do work for them. Right? And so I think when I had shifted my thinking, and this is like what I've been sharing with people, is the fact that just know where you have come to today, and your journey is rightfully yours. And whatever you have to share in your journey today is really of value to people who are a few steps behind you. They will benefit because they're on similar journeys. And so you have to find your ideal client who are on the similar journey and who will benefit from your sharing. And so the shift in that thinking, knowing that you are enough where you are, makes the biggest difference, right? Then you're just really shooting the shit when you talk with your client, basically. and you get to exchange money for it. So it gets to be more fun. And it's with more ease. And when you market yourself, you know exactly your own experiences. You know exactly what you've done well, and you know where your good qualities are. And so that's how I work with my client. It's really just discovering, okay, so what is unique about you? And it's hard when you think about yourself. It's hard to talk about yourself most times, right? And so that's why I call myself the therapist. I'm almost like half them on my chair. I'll be like, okay, so why don't you talk about this and tell me about that? And I just ask the questions where I think would be a good fit in terms of aligning to their brand strategy. Like, okay, what about different personality you can market with? What people like to see, what makes you unique. So why would they go with your services when they compared you to maybe someone else? And more importantly is, what is your positioning, right? Because like, if you don't have your positioning drawn out, then you are a commodity. Right? Then you don't want to be a commodity. You want to be that option for someone who would want to work with you, who might even save money up to work with you, right?
So you talked a little bit about tribe, and I know in our coaching community, or like the community, people are obsessed with now building Facebook groups, building the tribe, building the community. So how can one's brand, having a good brand, help build a community, or is there any influence with how you build a community because of your brand? Is there a correlationship?
I think so. I think so. So it's about building quality
Mm.
members, right? You want to have your tribe literally filled with your ideal clients. So to do that, it's really a combination of everything that we kind of touched on. Be clear on what your purpose so that people know what your intentions are and they know exactly if you can help them or not. Be very clear and concise, and really know what to market with from your brand. So I'm talking about values and beliefs because at the end of the day, you want people to think the same things as you do
Mhm.
to be part of your tribe, right?
Mhm.
Um, and and then also be clear on where you are remarkable. So remarkability lies on the edges, right? So you have to claim the position, rather be fastest, slowest, friendliest, most supportive. You have to know what it is. And that is a little bit of, your positioning, and then also what makes you unique in a sense. Like, if someone think of you, what would be the first thing that comes to mind? So how do you drive that perception? So all of that is from your strategy, right?
Mhm.
So all of that accumulated is a true representation of who you are as a person and what you do in business and how you help people. And so doing all those things would give you a really good foundation, but nothing beats building relationship.
Mhm.
Right. So that's kind of how your tribe grows, and the more you focus on your own journey, the more that you lead, to get better and better, at yourself, then people will follow because they want ultimately what you have, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, and I guess the last thing is really to share a lot of value, right? A lot of value. Just be very consistent in sharing value because um, that's how people would like to follow, right? If you can help them, even just sharing what you know, and I think those are the few things I would say in how to build and grow your tribe and good quality tribe, right?
Mhm. Mhm. I think personally, branding it's needed, but it's not so popular. You hire a business coach, you get instant gratification, right? You get the strategies, you go implement this, and boom, you get the client straight away. But with branding, it really requires time to build and to simmer and to, allow that to sit with your community. But that being said, I think first impressions are very important, and that comes with
Mm.
under the umbrella of personal branding or branding. I mean, it's like if you go to someone, the thing is, I check people's websites all the time because I love to see beautiful things and see, oh, this is nice and that's nice. Okay, I'm going to KIV for my next branding website. Whatever it is, I love to go and see how it makes me feel. So, especially if you're somebody who is targeting the high end, even if you're not targeting the high end, I mean, gone are the days where like Doing Virtue or Wayne Dyer doesn't have a very nice website, but look, they have a lot of people, so it doesn't really matter. But I mean, look at the website; it's pretty old school, but still,
Yes.
there is just information. But right now, like you want to stand out from the crowd, then it really starts with how you make people feel the moment they enter your space, which is your website. And I see a lot of people, oh, I work with A-listers, I work with like high end, and then I go to their website and I'm like, what? Like what? Really? So people judge whether we are spiritual or not. I know as spiritual beings we don't judge, but we are human beings, so we judge. We really judge people based on how they show up. And image consultancy is another one. It's just not how you put the colors together, put the clothes together, but whatever you pick out today is a representation of how you want the world to see you, right? So that's a reflection of how you see yourself, and that's how the world's going to see you. So don't bitch and complain if the world's not taking you seriously. Ask yourself, are you taking yourself seriously? So I think branding is also very important. Business consultancy, business coaching is equally important. So if you want to take yourself seriously, take your business seriously, it's just not business consulting. There are so many other areas, and you really need a tribe to create a successful business. Like Oprah,
Yeah.
sure, she has like people consult, like she's, on her image, on her brand, on her makeup, and I'm sure there are people there to provide her valuable feedback. Like the
Yeah.
Kardashians, the same thing. They are this, people love them, hate them, whatever it is. They have an army of people to create their look. So same thing with your business. You really need a village to support you. So is there any other tips and strategies that you want to give us before we let you go?
Yeah. um, I will close off to say that, the branding strategy, it's like dating,
Mhm.
right? So to your point, first impressions is really important. So you need to dress and look the part. I think that is so, so important. But the way how you dress and look, if you think about your website, it should really be a true reflection of who you are, like what your brand is about.
Mhm.
Because then right away, people should see you the same way, or you should come across the same way as how they have thought of you, right?
Mhm.
And so to that point, in the process of branding, it really is to set your foundation in terms of the strategy and then go into the image. And so then your image will be that much more effective.
Mhm.
And then going back to the analogy of dating, it's almost like when you see this hot guy, and you want to, talk to him, get to know him a little bit more. But as soon as he opens his mouth and he's like so dumb and so stupid, and it's like an instant turn off. So
Mhm.
then it doesn't go further than the first date. So that's kind of how I would relate like the whole branding overall, like opposed to just brand image. And it's totally different. It's totally different than business consulting, like as you say, because they really do work hand in hand, branding, because you need to have to meet before you could take to market, right? And the way how you market is where your business consulting can help a lot, because there's different strategies to set up in place for your business. And really, it's all working together, right? But then if you don't have your brand, again, when you go into executing all these different strategies, then you're really just positioning yourself as a commodity again, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, so like I think the last tip would be, if you have not looked at your brand strategy, look at your brand strategy.
Right. So where can we start? What's the first step to, look at the brand strategy? Like, is it the logo? Is it the colors? What is it?
It would be your brand promise. Right.
Mm.
So you really need to go back to what is it that you're promising your clients. So then you would know when you actually come up with your content, right? Then you would know how you would even positioning, saying anything. How do you become clear in your messaging? So it's a real big, effect to everything that you do, actually, right? Down to your messaging. And then the second thing is, I always do this. That's kind of my step by step is, what is your brand promise? And that is for me to equate to your purpose. And then the second thing is you need to know who your ideal client is, because then you're really efficient then with your marketing, with your communications. You're talking to that one person. Like, what would you say to that person and how do you talk to that person? And sometimes, okay, like I talk to my mom like very differently to my husband, right? So that's what I mean. You have to talk differently to your ideal client than general public.
Mm.
And then the next step that I normally do is, what is your essence? Right. So again, if I were to drill down to only one single word to describe your business, like what would it be? Or what would you like other people to say your business is as such and such? So you need to know what type of perception you want other people to have on you. And this is the tricky part, and especially for online business, we have our digital footprint. So everybody really has a brand because people have impression of you.
Mm.
So either you manage it or you don't manage it.
Mm.
So you'd be better off to manage it, right?
Mhm.
And then just leave it up to air to like leave people to think of whatever they want of you. So you can actually strategically promote, what type of perception you want people to have on you. And then after that, the next step would be to look at your positioning now. how do you really stand out in the market? It's all in your positioning. You need to, own up to what makes you unique, right? So I'm not saying in terms of comparing, but you be smart to look at somebody who's doing the same business as you or offering the same service and really see how they are marketing themselves. And so you know where can you be even more unique, right? So kind of hit them where they're weak.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, that was a lot of tips you can take away from today's show because if you're brand new and you're thinking whether you need a brand strategist or not, but it's a good place to start and you do those things so that it makes life easier for the brand strategist to take over. So thank you so much, Whitney, for joining us. Thank you so much. And so one last question, where can we find you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Don't laugh, but my website is not up.
I'm
but my website.
To laugh. It's okay.
Right? So my website is my full name, whitneymullings.com. And my Facebook group, I would love anybody to join because we talk everything branding. And it's called This One Time at Brand Camp.
Okay. This One Time at Brand Camp.
Yes, that's my Facebook group name. So those are the two easiest places to look for me.
So when will your website be done?
I hope in 2 months' time.
Why 2 months?
To be honest, I've been building my business very slowly, and I always put, talking and connect with people as a priority. So if I were to schedule an hour of every single day, I would have a call. I would spend that time more than working on my website copy. And that's another piece that I have to learn how to outsource. It's that's kind of my lesson that I need to learn. It's to delegate and outsource a little bit more because I used to do web design, so I know how to do it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, true. It's a blessing and a curse when you know how to do the craft.
Yeah, I know, right? Because you never get to your own, honestly.
Right. So, all right. Thank you so much, Whitney, and thank you for joining us. If you have enjoyed this week's episode, please go ahead and leave us a comment below, and we're happy to get to your comments. Let us know what's your branding. Do you even think branding is important? Where are you at your branding strategy stage right now, and how do you position yourself? All right, so let us know, and I look forward to seeing you again sometime soon. If not, do join us at the Spiritual Entrepreneurs, where we are hosting more than 17,000 members there, and Whitney is also part of our member, and you can start a conversation with her, and she will be happy to converse with you. All right, so take care and see you soon. Bye.